Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday Seaside Going Within service. I'd like to introduce our guest artist this evening, Terry Wilder. So she's going to come up and sing.
Good evening, everybody.
Yay,
Thank
yay.
you. Start by lifting your spirits a little bit this evening. We could use this, yes? When I take a look around, what do I see? I see the sun and the moon and the deep blue sea. A laughing friend, a baby's smile, gift after gift, mile after mile. I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
Oh, in my world, I see love. I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
Yeah, in my world, I see love. Shimmering grass in the morning time. Oh, the song of the breeze dancing with the chime. The touch of a hand when I'm reaching out. That's what my life is all about. I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
Oh, in my world, I see love. I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
I see love.
Yeah, in my world, I see love. In every moment, I can see everything I'll ever need. In gratitude, I'm moving through. Love is all I see. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want you to take a minute and look around. Look at the people next to you and behind you. Look within and say those words. Ah, I see love. I see love. Here we go. I see love.
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 I see love. I see love. I see love.
I
I see
see love.
love.
I see 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 love. Oh, in my world, I see love. I see love.
I see love.
I see love. Yeah, in my world, I see love. Oh, in my world, I see love. Yeah, in my world, I see love,
All
All right, Terry. Thank you
Yay,
very
yay.
much. Terry Wilder, everyone. Good evening. My name is Reverend Lori McMacken. Welcome to Seaside Centers for Spiritual Living, the Going Within service. So we come together on a Wednesday evening to connect in spiritual community and to not only see love within ourselves, but to see love throughout the whole world. In a place today where we really need that consciousness. So what I'm going to do is invite you to come forward and to set an intention. And set an intention to give a spiritual quality to the world, to be that consciousness. As Terry gives her gifts and music, I invite you to come forward as we practice the presence together.
love in in me.
I invite you to close your eyes and to go within, for this is a time when we practice the presence in our meditation. Just allow the chair to support you and breathe in and out of your heart space, focusing on your heart, the eye of wisdom, the eye of love. And I invite you to think of someone or a place where you go that brings you so much peace and harmony in your life. And breathe that feeling of peace and harmony into your heart space. Now I invite you to just keep the feeling of peace and harmony as we move into the silence, and allow that to emanate throughout your whole body, and allow that to permeate within the sanctuary. And then allow that to expand out into the world as we practice the silence together.
I see love. I feel peace. I feel harmony. For God is all there is. And there's only one power, and there's only one presence, and there's only one mind. And this beautiful healing energy moves in, through, and around us as all that there is. And I am one with peace, and I am one with harmony. And divine intelligence moves through me and expresses as me, for I am spirit expressing. And as this is true for me, this is true for each person here tonight in this beautiful sacred evening. And I know that peace and love and harmony fill our hearts and expand out into the universe and multiple galaxies, knowing that there is only love. Reverend Laurie McMacken's talk tonight is about intention. So I'm going to read a passage from Dr. Wayne W. Dyer's book called The Power of Intention, Learning to Co-Create Your Way, Your World, Your Way. And I was just very fortunate to find this on my bookshelf as I sought something to read about intention. It was just like right there. Your purpose will find you. In a previous chapter, I reviewed the obstacles to connecting to intention and pointed out that our thoughts are one of the major roadblocks. I stressed that we become what we think about all day long. What thoughts do you have that inhibit you from feeling as if you're on purpose in your life? For instance, if you think that you're separate from your purpose and that you're drifting without direction through your life, then that's precisely what you'll attract. Suppose instead that you know this is a purposeful universe where your thoughts, emotions, and actions are a part of your free will and are also connected to the power of intention. When you awake enough to question your purpose and ask how to connect to it, you're being prodded by the power of intention. The very act of questioning why you're here is an indication that your thoughts are nudging you to reconnect to the field of intention. What's the source of your thoughts about your purpose? Why do you want to feel purposeful? Why is a sense of purpose considered the highest attribute of a fully functioning person? The source of thought is an infinite reservoir of energy and intelligence. In a sense, thoughts about your purpose are really your purpose trying to reconnect to you. The infinite reservoir of loving, kind, creative, abundant energy grew out of the originating intelligence and is stimulating you to express this universal mind in your own unique way. And I'd like to welcome Reverend Laurie McMacken back to the stage.
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Jim. Well, this evening I'm going to start with, I have a confession to make to you. You see, I thought that an intention was an idea that you have, that you put out into the universal mind, and then you move with the flow of the universe and you're guided to this intention until your wish is fulfilled. And this is one definition of intention, and that is part of intention, but intention is so much more. Intention is so much grander, and it's so much powerful. Actually, an intention is an invisible force and is extremely powerful that moves through all of life. It is omnipresent. Intention is impersonal, and it's pure love, and it carries all the verities of spirit, such as beauty and truth and love and peace and harmony. And we can move through this beautiful intention, and we can manifest our heart's desires on a personal basis, but we can also use this intention to be a higher consciousness out into the world, especially today when we feel like this is greatly needed in our world. There was once a dragon who had one leg, and he said, "How do you manage all those legs to the centipede?" He goes, "I can barely manage my one leg." And the centipede replied, "I don't manage my legs at all." And you see, this is the power of intention. The power of intention doesn't manages everything. We don't manage anything. So if there's an acorn, and you open up this acorn, what you see inside that acorn is not an oak tree. Because the acorn cannot think for itself. There's an intention within that acorn that makes it this grand oak tree and gives back to the universe. When you see a beautiful apple blossom, there's an intention within that apple blossom to become this beautiful, juicy apple to nourish the people on earth. So there's always a greater intention that's moving within the universe. And it expresses itself in zillions and zillions of ways. And it also expresses itself within your body, within your mind, with your heart, within your soul. It runs your circulatory system. It beats your heart. It is a part of who you are. Intent is a force that exists in the universe. When those who live from source beckon intent, it comes to them and it sets up a path for attainment. When we're on a spiritual path, our quest is to be connected to source and to move into this flow of intention. And it is through our awareness that we can connect ourselves to this source energy. And so in religious science, we have a couple tools that we have learned along the way, and I would like to share one of the tools with you. And if you don't know it, this is definitely a game changer, and if you do know it, it's definitely wonderful to refresh your memory. And this is called the kingdoms of consciousness. And when we understand the kingdoms of consciousness, we can always look at our life in the ever-present moment of now and ask ourselves, what kingdom am I in? Am I connected to intention? And am I connected to this invisible force field that creates all things? Now, the first kingdom of consciousness is called the victim consciousness. And this is actually the lowest kingdom. This is when we might feel like we're not enough or we don't deserve. And actually, at one time in my life, I was professional in this kingdom. It's also the kingdom where you experience shame and blame and regret, where you're blaming everyone for your problems, or you're shaming yourself, or you're regretting something that has happened in the past. And the problem with the victim consciousness is that victims never heal. And we really can't get out of this box of victimhood until we decide to take personal responsibility in our life. And when we take personal responsibility in our life, then we move into the second kingdom of consciousness. Now, I know you can imagine the first kingdom of consciousness, you're definitely not connected to the field of intention. In the second kingdom of consciousness, you recognize that you are the great manifester of the world. You recognize that it is my will that will be done, right? I will work hard. I will set my goals. I will be driven, and I will attain them. It's like Tarzan, right? My will, not God's will. I'm going to do it my way or the highway. So this is the second kingdom, and this is a great kingdom in a way because just like when The Secret came out, we all learned that our thoughts create our reality. And this is definitely better than the victim consciousness. However, in this kingdom, there's still some fear. We're still living in a little bit of fear. And it's not until we actually give up the control, it's not until we surrender to the greater good do we move into the flow of the third kingdom of consciousness. Now, the third kingdom of consciousness is when we experience the power of intention. This is when we no longer feel like we have to control anything. This is when we feel like we can surrender our life to the life of God. Now, I want to tell you a secret about the third kingdom of consciousness. Do you know in the second kingdom of consciousness, we feel like we really have to work hard in life? Yeah. I got to work hard to make my money. I got to work hard to make a living. But when you're connected to spirit and you're in this flow of intention and you move into that third kingdom of consciousness, what happens is you wake up and you realize that you don't have to manage it anymore and you don't have to work hard anymore. You have the intention out into the universe and you allow that flow of the universe to bring everything to you. So this is the most powerful, or one of the most powerful kingdoms to be in. Now the fourth kingdom of consciousness is called the Christ consciousness. And this consciousness is the Buddha consciousness or the Krishna consciousness. In order to move into this consciousness, we have to give up a sense of separation. There is no separation between me and God. You know in this consciousness that you are one with all of life. And this is a consciousness that we might get a glimpse in here and there in our meditation or when we're out in nature, when we're feeling very peaceful and we open our hearts and we recognize that we're interconnected with all of life and everyone. So this is a very powerful kingdom. So we have the first kingdom of consciousness, which is the victim consciousness, which are not connected. The second kingdom is the manifester, my will. The third kingdom is the channel consciousness, where we allow spirit to flow in our lives. And the fourth kingdom is the Christ consciousness. Now, when we're praying and we're using spiritual mind treatment, the wonderful and the beautiful thing about prayer is that we never have to live in that second kingdom of consciousness. We never have to will anything to happen. I'm going to pray for you and I'm going to make it happen, because it's never your will. It is God's will. So this is the kingdom where we are aligned ourselves with the presence of God as our life, and we recognize that it is omnipresent and it's always expressing itself everywhere into eternality. And when we are there in this divine flow, we move up into the absolute. In the absolute, we recognize that there is nothing about we only have the present moment right here and right now. We don't have to worry about the appearance of anything that is happening in the moment, whether it is lack, limitation, or illness, and we don't have to worry about the past. It's in this ever-present moment now do we refine the qualities of God and we bring them into our lives. About a year and a half ago, I was over at the Yucatan Peninsula, and I was at a dance camp with the Dances of Universal Peace. And I was in this cute little village, and they had a beautiful little Catholic church. And they had it open all day long that you can go in there and you can light a candle and you can get on your knees and you can pray. And so every day before I went to dance, I would go in there and light a candle and do a little tithe, and I would get on my knees and pray. And I knew this is not what we do here, because sometimes we feel like if we're on our knees and we're praying that we're begging and we're beseeching God to give us something, right? But no, when I went there, I was on my knees and I was doing my technique with spiritual mind treatment every single day. And around the seventh day of praying on my knees every day, I realized that what I was doing, I was surrendering. I was surrendering and I was giving up control to the greater good of life. And I was connecting myself to this field of intention. So when we are on this spiritual path, or we're spiritual gangsters and warriors, right? What we want to do is we want to become aware of when we are disconnected and when we are connected. So think of a time in your life where you felt very low self-esteem, or you were blaming the world for everything that was happening in your life. And during that time, that's when you were in this victim consciousness. Because I remember there was a time when I was in college and I had very low self-esteem, and I kept on thinking I wasn't good enough to go out and to express my career. And so because I was thinking that over and over again, what you think about expands, nothing was happening for me until someone actually told me, you know, you're not going to be able to work in life unless you feel like you deserve it. So I was able to take responsibility for my life and say, you know what, I work really hard. I deserve to be the dancer that works all the time. Right? Now I became the great manifester. So here I am. I manifested my first and second and third job, and I'm not consciously aware of how I'm thinking and what I'm doing in the world. So I'm in my third job, I'm in Las Vegas, and the contract's going to end. And I need to go out and find another job. All right, I'm going to go to all the shows on the Strip. I'm going to find what job that I would be perfect for, and I'm going to go audition for it and get that job. So I saw a job where they had this male and female dancer, and they were a brother and sister team. And they were actually beautiful, and they were doing these beautiful lifts in the air. And I thought to myself, you know, I think I'd be really, really good at that. I just don't know how to do it. And if I had a partner, so I called up the choreographer, and I said, you know, I'm an adagio artist. Can I come, you know, audition for you? He's like, sure, come over here in a week. So I had a week to be a pro and to get a partner. So one of my friends in the show, he was 6'4", and he was way too tall to do any line work. And I said, you know, we would be really great partners. And besides, we'd hit this niche market, and we double our income. What do you say? He says, yeah, it sounds good. So he was like me, and he was very well-driven, and we practiced every day, and we got videos, and we had people to train us, and we were working really hard. And the day of the audition came, and we went into rehearsal, and we couldn't get any lifts up in the air because we were beat up. We were bruised up. We were burnt out. There is no way we were going to get these lifts in the air. And besides, we choreographed the dance so difficult that we never even got through the whole dance once. So we said, okay, you know what? When you got nothing to lose, you got nothing to lose. Let's go home and let's rest, and then we'll go to the audition. So the moment of the audition came, and I'll tell you right now, it was one of the most magical moments of my life because I don't know what was dancing through me, and I don't know what was dancing through him, and I don't know what was dancing through us, but everything went up in perfect divine timing, and we had danced like we were together for 10 years. And we got this job, and we looked at each other like, whoa, what just happened? And the next day, it all fell apart, and we were back in the rehearsal studios for hours on end, but we did hone our skills. But it was this power of intention that came into our lives. We had the intention, and because we were forced to surrender, we were forced to give up the control, the universe came in, and it supplied everything that we ever needed for this intention. So it's an amazing, journey when we wake up to the kingdoms of consciousness. And in your daily living, you can say, well, where am I right now? Oh, I'm in victim mode. Well, maybe I can take responsibility for what's going on here. Oh, where am I? Why isn't anything working out for me? Why am I hitting my head up against the wall and I'm working really hard? Well, maybe I'm not giving up. Maybe I'm not in surrender mode. So this is how we stay connected to this divine power of intention. I can't even read it. Can you? I went walking down at the beach every day this morning. I took pictures. And so these are the pictures of the beach. I thought I'd put my PowerPoints on them. So this was a quote by Wallace Wattles. And actually what he's saying is that when you are connected to the attitude of gratitude, you are connecting to all of Source, and blessings come from this space of gratitude. So the easiest way really to get connected to the power of intention is to go into a state of gratitude. Now gratitude is definitely not the victim consciousness, right? And gratitude is definitely not the manifestor consciousness. Gratitude is surrendering. It's surrendering to what you have in your life right here and right now. So the easiest way to go from Kingdom 1 to Kingdom 3 is to be in this state of ever-loving gratitude. And during this month of Thanksgiving, this is a great time to remind ourselves when we need to get connected to be in that space of high gratitude. I was reading the Religious Science magazine, and Dr. Ken Gordon, who is the president of Centers for Spiritual Living, he did an article in that magazine, and he was talking about gratitude. And his teacher was Dr. Tom Costa, and Dr. Tom Costa says, you cannot be unhappy and have gratitude at the same time. It's either you have a choice. You can be one or the other. You either got to choose to be unhappy, or you have to choose to be connected to spirit and to be in gratitude. And Dr. Gordon was going through a difficult time in his life, and so he reached out to a friend who was a practitioner, and he was a practitioner at that time too. And he said, tell me what I can do. And don't say you can pray for me, because I've been praying for myself every single day. What can I do right here and right now to get myself out of this feeling and to get connected to spirit? And so the practitioner said to him, well, the first thing you can do is every night before you go to bed, write down 20 things that you have gratitude for, that you're grateful for. And don't repeat any of them. And then, can you imagine when you go to bed at night and you have your subconscious mind working, you're getting connected to spirit, you're going to wake up in a better feeling space, right? And the second thing, he said, the next day what I want you to do is to do something different. Don't do the same thing over and over and over again. Take a different class, go meet different people, work out differently, but do something different in your life. So what he did is he went and took a creative writing class. And then the third thing he said is when you pray, pray for something bigger than yourself. Pray for world peace. So every day, Dr. Gordon continues to pray for world peace. Because when we give of ourselves to the world, right, we have this heart opening and we become connected to the expression of spirit. Oh, we can read this. A practitioner of the science should not be confused over any given form, but should know that any form that is not from original harmony is subject to change. The original spirit is harmony, it's beauty and truth, and everything that goes with it is the ultimate reality. For beauty is truth, and truth is beauty. And when we understand that truth is the passage that sets us free, we see beauty everywhere we look. So there was a student that asked his master, Master, why is it everyone around me is happy except me? And the master said, well, everyone has learned to see beauty and goodness. Well, why don't I see beauty and goodness? And he said, well, you can't see outside of you what you fail to see inside of you, right? So when we see beauty in our lives inside ourselves, we project that out into the world. And when we see something that's fear or doubt and worry within our own selves, we project that out into the world. And this is also a safety net of just remembering that when people are coming at us and they're projecting at us with their stuff, can we be that consciousness of love and beauty for them? And that's truly the trick to the world, right? Can we keep that consciousness of love? Can we keep that consciousness of beauty no matter what is happening in the appearance of the world? There's a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And a man called Viktor Frankl, he had the experience, unfortunately, of being in a concentration camp during World War II. And he tells a story of how he was given a meal, and the meal was a bowl of dirty water with a fish head floating around it. And how he trained his mind to see the beauty in that meal. And he trained his mind to see the beauty in every horrific experience that he had in those concentration camps. And he said that the only corner of freedom that he could gather would to choose to see beauty, would choose to see love, no matter what the appearance was. And because he was in this state of appreciation, in the state of beauty, and in the state of love, he actually survived the concentration camps, and he became a light unto the world. Another light unto our world is Mother Teresa. And someone asked her, So what did you do in the streets of Calcutta? And she said, every day I saw Jesus Christ in all its disguises. Mother Teresa, she quotes, kind words can be short and easy to speak, but their echoes are truly endless. So it is that kindness that we have within us that we can be kindness to ourselves, because we really can't be kind to anyone else out in the world until we be kind to ourselves. And understand that we are a slice of God, and that we are that beautiful emanation of the Most High. And when we can be kind to ourselves, we can be kind to all people around us. So there was a man who had his son's name was Shia, in a school for children who were disabled. And they had a gathering and a fundraiser. And this gentleman stood up and he gave a talk that was very compelling to everyone that was listening. And he said, I know that there is the perfection of God in all things. But my son has trouble learning. So where is the perfection in my son? And I know God creates everything that is perfect. But my son will never learn facts and figures. So where is the perfection in my son? And the audience felt a little uncomfortable from the anguish that he was expressing. And then he said, well, maybe it's because God has brought a child like this into the world, seeking that other people can see him with the eyes of perfection and how they're going to treat him. And then he told the story about him and his son, Shia, walking through the park, and there was 18 boys, and they were playing softball. And his son goes to his dad, Dad, I want to play softball. And the father said to him, well, he knew that he didn't know how to play softball, and he wasn't athletic, and he also knew that most of the kids on the team were not going to want to choose him. So he went up to one of the boys on the team, and he said, would you mind if my son played softball with you? So that one boy looked around to get guidance from the other guys on the team, and he didn't get any. So he decided to take it in his own hand. He said, you know what? This is the 8th inning, and we're losing by 6 points. Why don't he go out into the field, here's a glove, and then in the 9th inning, we'll get him up to bat. Well, in the 8th inning, Shia's team scored 3 points. And then in the 9th inning, Shia's team scored another point, but they had 2 outs. And the bases were loaded. And Shia's turn was up to bat. And the father's thinking, oh, I wonder if they're going to let him bat. And they did. They let him bat, so Shia got up there to bat, and he didn't even know how to handle a bat. He didn't even know how to hold it. And so the pitcher came in closer to him, and threw a softball. And he swung it, but he did it clumsily, and he didn't even hit the ball. And so one of the teammates came behind Shia and put his arm around him and grabbed the bat with him. And then the pitcher came in a little bit closer, and he swung the bat, and it was a line drive into the pitcher, and they all screamed, run, Shia, run! And Shia scrambled to first base. He's never even run to first base, and his eyes were open and startled. And the pitcher took the ball, and he easily could have threw it to first base, but no, he threw it in a high arc way out into the outfield past the first baseman. And then the man in the outfield caught the ball, and he could have threw it to second base, but he didn't. He wailed it over to the third baseman, and they were screaming, run, Shia, run! And he runs to the second base. And then the shortstop on the opposing team goes over and grabs Shia, and he faces him towards the third base. And everyone's screaming, run, Shia, run! Now all the other basemen are running into home. And then they're screaming, run home, Shia, run home! So Shia ran home, and after they ran home, they picked him up on his shoulder. And 18 boys made this child a hero. They connected to spirit. And as the man told the story of how his son made a grand slam and he helped his team win, tears were rolling down his eyes. And he said, those 18 boys became God perfection in that moment. Wow. In this interconnected universe, every improvement we make in our world improves the world at large for everyone. It is a scientific fact. What is good for you is good for me. David Hawkins wrote the book Power versus Force, and he calibrates everything by energy levels. And he said that one person with a high energy level who has the attitude of optimism and the willingness to be non-judgmental can counterbalance 90,000 people. 90,000 people. He says an avatar who has the high consciousness, the fourth kingdom of consciousness, and who deserves the title of Lord, like Lord Krishna, Lord Buddha, or Lord the Jesus Christ, can counterbalance all of humanity. Yeah. So here we are today in this time in our world that's asking for great change, right? It's all over the news. But in reality, we know that the change doesn't come from the outside. The change doesn't come from the one person. The change comes from you, right? The change comes from you calibrating at a very high level of giving love to the world, and first giving love to ourselves. And when we have this peace and this love and this harmony within our own body and our own mind and our own spirit, then you become the avatar for the people of the world. And so it is. And I want to invite Terry to come forward. So I invite you to close your eyes and go within, and let's pray for this intention that you gave the world. Yes. So as we go within to this place of love and peace and perfect harmony and wholeness, I know each person here is that conduit for spirit. Each person here is that bright light out into the world, giving your love, giving your harmony, giving your peace, giving your consciousness to all of humanity, knowing that we expand and we grow in perfect peace and perfect love and perfect joy. For I am grateful for each and every person as we come together as one to connect in community and to know the truth and beauty, for it is the truth that sets us free, and so it is. Father taught me lessons, a teacher and a friend, said here's the family business, love without end. So I'm here to carry on, share the light that has guided me, with a question or two that I'm asking of you. Maybe you can help me to see. How can I love you more? How can I be kinder? How can I be there for you
can I love you more? How can I love you more? How can I love you more?
Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. A perfect song, huh? So this is a time where we love our spiritual center more, right? Our time of giving. I invite the ushers to come forward. This is the time when we practice our giving and receiving. So I invite you to take your gift and to place it over your heart. And close your eyes and go within and just recognizing this power of giving and receiving, this loving essence of circulation, knowing that there are doors of opportunity that opens up for each and every person here. That each person is connected to that power of intention, of light, of love, of abundance and opulence, and so it is. There you go. Together, let's say our affirmation. Freely I give, freely I receive. I'm immersed in the universal flow, knowing my gift does good work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Sorry, Sandy. Sorry, Dennis. So this is the time where we give love to the people around us, the world, anyone you wish, any institution, any situation. I invite you, this is called the Circle of Love Prayer. I invite you to raise your hand if you have someone in your heart, in your mind that you would like to see a healing for, or bring them into the circle of love. Yes. Hillary.
Joanne and Lucy.
How beautiful. So I invite you to close your eyes and to go within. And I honor each and every person here who brings their love and their light into this room, who brings their people into the consciousness within this healing circle, recognizing that the circle is eternal. There's no ending. There's no beginning. It is a circle of love and light. For the circle of love is complete. It is complete within me. The bonds are eternal. It is the essence of love and light that we hold all of our people into this beautiful circle of wholeness. For I know for each and every person that the light of God surrounds them and the love of God is within them. I know that where there is dis-ease, there is a perfect healing right here and right now. I know where there's lack and limitation, I know there is abundance and opulence expressing in each and every person's life. I know that wherever there's concern in the United States and our political forum, that is peace and harmony, and we hold that love and light for all people around the world. For I know each person that we brought into the circle of love is already complete in the mind of God. They are whole. They are one. They are never disconnected. They're always one with all of life. And I am grateful for this healing now, for it's already done in my mind, and my mind's the mind of God right here and right now. And I release this into the law of love, the law of life. And so it is. I want to thank Ed on video and sound. I'd like to thank Tim on video. Thank you, Tim, very much. Thank you, Bruce Wilkins, for being there, for holding the light. You are the light. Jim Bianchi, thank you for being on piano. And Terry, thank you for your beautiful voice and your talent. Thank you, Deb, for being of service. Thank you, Sandy and Dennis and Jenny. And we have a few things coming up I want to share with you. Next week is Reverend Debbie's last week, so we want to bring her out with a bang and come here and celebrate her. She'll be moving on to Monterey, and she will be dearly missed here at Seaside and our Wednesday night service. Also, the week after that, we have an interfaith service. It's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So I invite you here, and what they're doing is everyone's bringing pies. You can bring a pie to share, or you can buy a pie. Now, I bought a pie for you. I won't be here, but it's at mamaspie.org. And it's a $25 donation, and what they do is they make a pie, and they'll bring it here to the service. I think that someone will go pick it up. But also, this is a community that feeds people who either have AIDS or they have cancer. And that $25 not only buys a pie, but it also feeds 7 meals for someone. So it's just a beautiful, beautiful charity. So if you go to mamaspies.org, you can get more information. I think we have some brochures out in the family room there. Then the next service is the 5th Wednesday of the month, and we're having a Tay-Z service. Joanne Bryan is coming all the way here from North Hollywood, and this is the church I used to belong to when I first started in the religious science teaching, and it's going to be a beautiful candlelight service. And then Drumming and the Lights coming in the 18th of December with Christine Stevens. And then in January, we will start the Dances of Universal Peace up again. So I invite you to stand so we may do our universal blessing, for today is a great day for a universal blessing. And together we say, may all beings be well and happy. May all beings be free from strife. May all beings return to love. Peace be with you forevermore. Deborah, come on up. And let's do our closing song.
Let your heart fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Let your heart fill with peace from the angels who love our world. Peace will change 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 our world. Peace in our heart. Peace in our world. Peace in our heart. Peace in our world. In our world.
May you walk in peace, Seaside, and please join us for tea and cookies in the family room.